Hello, guys. Welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. Now, as promised, it's a busy week on previews, and Ray's going to be smiling because finally, with Wasserman boxing, big night, isn't it, this weekend in the Northeast, Ray?
It is. It's a big night in Newcastle. It's at the much smaller Virtu Sports Arena, which isn't too far from where I am. It's in my home city, as you could say. And I'm looking forward to this one. There's a couple of fights and a couple of boxers. I'm really intrigued to see how they get on, and I think it could kickstart the careers of some, bring others back into the fore. And also gives the local fans a chance to appreciate some of the local talent coming through. So overall, I'm really excited about this, and it's on Channel 5.
That's the big thing, isn't it? And let's be fair, Channel 5's brought in some big numbers recently. 1 million people watched Josh Kelly's win in June, which we'll get
Yes,
onto now.
yeah.
So exciting. And with a stat card like this, I think a lot of people will be tuning in. So it's great to have that competition. We'll get into it, mate. Main event, obviously, Josh Kelly versus Lucas Bastida. How do you give us a breakdown of this one and how you see it playing out?
Well, this Lucas Bastida, he's tough, isn't he? I mean, he's a current middleweight South American champion. He's not coming over to roll over. We said it in a few videos, you and I now, Josh, that these South Americans that are including the Mexicans and the Latin Americans that are coming over now, their records aren't to be sniffed at and aren't to be laughed at. They're putting on some really good performances, and we've named them in previous videos. Josh Kelly, he's still haunted by that defeat to David Aronesian. People are starting to say it was too early. People are starting to say that he's all style. There's no substance behind that. He has looked better in this new weight class. At light middleweight, super welterweight, whatever you want to call it, and his performance, it looked good. He needed that good performance, but again, against somebody who's more durable, he's going to pose different questions of Kelly. Can he up that volume and keep that volume up for the duration of a fight? We've seen Josh Kelly, particularly down at welterweight, fight and burst. He always looked good earlier on. He was very quick, very explosive, but then seemed to tire as the fight went on. We're going to see if that's going to be different at 154. Also, he got a stoppage win last time out. So is he carrying his power up? He wasn't the most physically powerful at 147, but has that changed at 154? We don't know. So those type of questions, I've got a feeling we're going to see that answered. If he looks just as good as what he puts on the same type of form in this fight, then yeah, there's some real big fights for him, definitely in this country, and across the world as well for Josh Kelly. So it's a good chance. I wouldn't say it's his local fans because he's from down the road in Sunderland, but when they're in the ring, it doesn't matter where they're from. We've got to get out behind our boy, and I'm hoping Josh Kelly does the business this weekend.
No, I'd agree, and I think that's the one thing with me. Bastida's coming into this, and again, his record at face value: 18 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 10 stoppages. He has been stopped earlier on in his career for that sole loss, but he has only really fought in Argentina. So I'd back up what you're saying on. I think gone are the days of us being able to sort of shrug off these South American fighters. They're coming with the surprises. Yeah. But one issue potentially in this fight for me, for Josh Kelly, obviously, as we know, we covered it on one of our Monday Night Lives. He's been ordered by the British Boxing Board to face Troy Williamson, who we've had on the channel, and is a seriously talented fighter. Would he be guilty of potentially having one eye on bigger things?
I think, again, that Avanesian defeats taught him that you can't do that in boxing. You just can't play boxing. He'd be human if he didn't, because that's a big fight, particularly in the Northeast. At the old Metro Radio Arena, the utility arena, as it's called now, that sells that really does sell that. It's a big fight. Troy, with all his amateur pedigree and what he's done now as a pro, he has a style to really make it a difficult night for Josh Kelly, because he can box, he's powerful, he's got a terrific jab, and he puts that pressure on you. He won't give Josh Kelly a moment's rest. He'll sit on his chest. Josh Kelly's really got to play chess. He's really got to be on his bike, use his feet, be in and out. That's a really, really interesting fight down the line. And yeah, so that's a big fight. Josh is probably thinking, I get through that fight that he's got on Saturday night, and then he's got those type of fights lined up, but he can't afford to take his eye off the ball because, something like what happened against David Avanesian could end up happening on Saturday night.
No, I totally agree, and I hope he doesn't take his eye off the ball and gets the job done, because I'm looking forward to a trip up to the northeast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so big fight. So I'm going Kelly points win. Your thoughts?
I can't see Josh getting a stoppage in this one. So I'm going to have to go for a points win as well. I just think that the last opponent that he fought, this guy's a step up from that, and he's a lot more durable. But a points win, if he can get a dominance points win, I think that'll be just as good as a stoppage win in terms of Josh getting back to his classy best. It's about sustaining that, not just looking classy and looking the part in the first 2 or 3 rounds. I know Josh can do it for a full fight. Now he's at what I believe is the right weight class. I'm sure and I'm confident that he can do that. And that's what he needs to do Saturday night, because he needs to put some doubters at rest. People have been saying he can do it in the early parts of a fight. He needs to do it for the full fight. And now he's at the right weight class. That's why I'm going to go for a dominant points win for Josh Kelly on Saturday night.
No, I agree, mate. I think we'll see the same thing. So we'll move on down the card a little bit. Now, see, Harlem Eubank, huge name in the family name in British boxing and world boxing, in fairness.
Yeah, especially at the minute.
Exactly, yeah. Now, he was scheduled to fight Tom Farrell, which for me was an absolute cracker of a fight. Unfortunately, Farrell's pulled out with COVID. So Eubank now faces Elliot Chavez, who's coming in with a record of 11-4. Ray, I think this has just got, a routine win for Harlem Eubank. You disagree?
Yeah, it has. And I'm just like you, I'm massively disappointed that fight with Tom Farrell didn't come off. Eubank's been on some good form, hasn't he? Two or three stoppage wins off the bounce. He got a terrific win against Sean Dodd, and he had that win against Simon as well. And I was really, really impressed with his performance all the way back against Martin McDonough as well. Martin McDonough was coming into that fight with a good reputation, a good record as well, and he stopped him. So Harlem is looking pretty impressive. He's finding his feet in the pro ranks, sitting down on those punches. Earlier on, I didn't think he had the power to finish his opponents. The ring generalship was there, the ring IQ was there, but there was question marks about his power. He certainly proved that he can mix it with the best of them. Sean Dodd isn't the easiest to put away. He has had a few people, I think 4 people that stopped him. But Harlem's looked the most impressive stoppage. So yeah, it does have a Harlem Eubank win all over it, but this one's more about the manner, because only the big fights will do for Harlem now.
Agreed.
Apprenticeship. He's been in those domestic fights. He needs to step up now and probably start going for titles, in my opinion. Again, I'm going for a stoppage win for Harlem.
I'd agree. The only thing I'd add to everything you said, I agree with it all, is the fact that he's obviously got that big name, so obviously it attracts attention and eyes, but he's gone about his business in a less public way, should we say, than obviously Chris Eubank Jr. has. And I respect that. Again, similarly is what we said on previous videos when he's done it the right way, hasn't he? So respect to Harlem Eubank.
He's gone about his business quietly, but he's been working hard in the gym, under the stewardship of Adam Booth. He's learning a lot. And you can tell that in his performances. they're getting in better and better and better. He genuinely is. He's definitely one of my most improved fighters, definitely in the past 2 years. And he's seeing that maturity in his performances. That's why I'm expecting a good performance from him on Saturday. I don't think he will look past this opponent one bit.
No, definitely. It's a banana skin, but I'm with you. I'm going Eubank by stoppage. So, again, it's not a great one for me to try and extend my lead on predictions. So this week's not been all it's cracked up to be for me, I'm going to be honest. But moving further down the card, now I'm just going to say 2 words and I want you to talk to me about him because I know you're a big, big fan. Pat McCormack.
Where do I start and how long have you got? I'm a big fan of the twins, Pat and Luke. And I'm really, really excited about them both. As I keep hammering on, I don't really judge prospects until after 10 fights. I think that you get a good all-round view of their skill set because they've had a few different styles of opponents by then. And you get a good gauge of where they're going to be up to. But Pat McCormack has got the full package from his amateur pedigree. I've seen him from the National Amateur Championships, they were then called the ABAs. I've seen his progression on international tournaments on Team G and through Berkeley Amateur Boxing Club. But this kid is the real deal. He can do it all. He can counter punch, box on the front foot, box on the back foot. He slips punches well. His defense is pretty sharp. Looking and him and Luke, they decided to move away. They decided to go down south and stay in Essex with Ben Davison, and it's going to bear fruit. I know it is because these twins are dedicated to the sport. They live and breathe the sport, and it's just going to be another stepping stone on the long, fruitful career of Pat McCormack. It's going to be an emphatic performance. He's performed up here before. He's going to perform up here again on Saturday night. Guys, look out for this kid because he's going to be the name on everyone's lips at the welterweight division in the next 18 months to 2 years.
I'm loving that, and I really hope this turns into something that somebody quotes us on it and you get a bit of credit there, mate, because I agree with you. I just don't do as good a job of selling it as you do. You've took that promoters video we did to heart, and
yeah,
the new Eddie Her, mate. I'm sold.
I just need a new suit instead of this checkered shirt, like instead of my dad's shirt. I just need a proper suit.
I was going to say, I did think with the shirt you've put me to shame tonight, but anyway, we'll move on. Also, Hosea Stewart, now more relevant to where I'm from, down in the Midlands. But I'm excited about him. You know, he's coming into this with a 2-0 record, so it's his third professional outing. Ray, is this got another routine win all over it? Just another building block?
It has. I mean, you know, Jose Stewart's a big heavyweight prospect, and he's a big lad. And I'm not being disrespectful, but he is. But he can fight. He can really fight. Again, he's got decent amateur pedigree. You know, when I've seen him before, I like the kid. I'm impressed. You know, you again, if he dedicates himself to the sport, as I've been talking about the McCormacks, I can't see why, you know, he can't go British, definitely English, British, onto Commonwealth, who knows? He's got it all for me. I can see a routine win for him in onwards and upwards.
No, I agree, mate. I mean, the next fight we've got is a bit of a funny one. Obviously, most people will know because he has had some serious promotion and push from Sky and Boxer. Steve Robinson, a deal was done. He is still with Boxer, to the best of our knowledge.
Yeah.
But a deal's been done. He's fighting on this show. Obviously, it's in his backyard, so to speak. And obviously, he lost to Shane Gill, didn't he, last time out in a bit of it was a flat performance. And for me, he's got to bounce back, hasn't he, now? Otherwise, if he loses on Saturday, I mean, he looked limited in that Shane Gill loss, I think it's fair to say, as much as the commentators tried to big him up and talk about the excellent sparring he's had with Dylan White, Tyson Fury and co. He looked limited. And Ray, if you disagree, please tell me, but he has got to put on a performance on Saturday. I know it's not on a Sky show, but otherwise I can't see him going back to Sky.
He was woeful. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I'm telling you straight. Let's get that right. He was terrible. he has to improve. He has to improve. And this is a platform to do it. Again, the pressure's probably going to be on because it's on Channel 5. More people can see that, and it's back in his hometown. But there's something about Steve, there's something about Jargo. He's not the most gifted in the world, but there's a resilience there. He's come up the hard way. He hasn't had that much of an extensive amateur background, but he's keen to learn. He's keen as mustard to learn. You go back to the sparring, he has had a good education. He has been in the camps of some notable, good, solid heavyweights, outstanding heavyweights, and he'll be learning like a sponge. He's trained by Mark Rosell, a great trainer locally. Anyone that knows boxing in the Northeast speaks highly of Mark Rosell. And I don't think Mark Rosell would be so invested in him if there wasn't something about him. And that's the thing. It's one of those where people may have question marks watching him, but Mark really, really knows his boxing. And Mark wouldn't be pushing him so highly and getting him out there if Mark didn't believe in him. And that almost gives me sort of confidence as if I'm watching it. I think there's something there in this kid. I just wonder whether Steve's the type of person to, he gets hit and it's all guns blazing and the game plan goes out the window. You just need to tone down that passion. And that's what I'm saying. The hardest is what his opponent, the other hard thing he's going to have to combat is the crowd, because it's going to be similar to the phenomenon for what happened to Joe Laws. The crowd rooting for him could actually go against him, where he forgets the game plan and he just wants a war because he wants to impress all the fans that have bought the tickets for him. So if you can just calm it down again, that's where the discipline will come into, and that's when he'll more likely get behind his boxing. If Jargo, as I call him, gets behind his boxing, you'll have a comfortable win. But I just think with Steve, he just needs to win. He just needs to win, build the confidence back up, get the discipline within the ring, and then we can see how far you can really go.
No, I agree. And the other thing is, getting hit and then wanting a war. It could be that. My other theory, to be honest, is because of the promotion and push he's had, we hear about fighters, that brings the nervous energy, doesn't it? And before they know it, gassed in 2 rounds. And I do wonder, in his last fight, he did look tired. It could be a thing. So if you can harness those nerves, who knows? We could see something in him. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on, regardless. Finishing off the card, we've got a female double header, haven't we? We've got Lisa Whiteside. She's back after a little bit of a layoff. 4th professional fight. She's undefeated so far with the 1 stoppage win. I'm assuming, opponent's not yet named, so it's going to be a fairly routine win again. Ray, talk to us a little bit about Lisa Whiteside.
Yeah, Lisa Whiteside's had a great amateur pedigree, hasn't she? Great amateur pedigree. She was unlucky she couldn't go. She couldn't go to the Olympics. She took time out, became a mother. She's got back, coming back into boxing, and she's going to be down at bantamweight. Originally, she was hovering around the flyweight, wasn't she? But I believe she's also boxes. That was as an amateur, but as a pro, she's been boxing at featherweight, so there's even possible talk she can come down to bantamweight, because that's where all the big fights are at women's boxing at the lower weight, isn't it? It's all around that bantamweight division. I think Lisa will just want to be happy to get out there and get some rounds in. I believe she'll be in an opponent that'll give her those rounds. That's what she wants. Lisa's explosive in the ring. She can be quite nasty once she puts her foot down. So I'm looking forward to seeing it out from her. It's just a case of getting the rounds out from her. She'll want to stay busy from now.
No, definitely, I agree with that. And then lastly, again from your neck of the woods, we've got Jordan Barker Porter, and she's having a bit of a step up against the durable and well-known Beck Connolly. I'm excited about this fight, Ray.
Yeah, so am I. Beck Connolly's a journeywoman, if we can say that. Jordan had that surprise defeat. She had that surprise defeat, but it's about bouncing back for Jordan, bouncing back and getting into winning ways, putting in a run together, and then the titles will come. She's getting trained by Nick Gittis. who has a good stable in the Northeast. Nick's a very good trainer, very well respected trainer, and similar to what I was saying about Mark Closell with Steve Robinson, Nick wouldn't be so invested in Jordan if she was wasting his time. Jordan is very, very motivated. I've seen in social media. She's become a mother herself. The reason why I'm saying that is it gives fighters a different perspective. They're no longer fighting for themselves. They're fighting for them. They're fighting for the family. They're fighting for children. They've got mouths to feed. Jordan will have the bit in between her teeth in front of our home fans. I think Jordan will take the fight to Beck, and Beck's no mug. Beck gives people hell. At times, she's not an easy opponent to get out of there. You look at her record; it's a case of who's who that just fought. I think Jordan will win, and I think Jordan will look good doing so. It'll be a tough fight, but I think Jordan's well prepared and well ready.
No, I totally agree, and it's a great card from top to bottom. Really, there's as we can all see, Ray's passionate about it. I'm excited about it. It's on Channel 5, so it's free to air telly. Everybody can watch it, which is also great news. We'll wrap it up there, guys. If you're still with us, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It has been a busy week so far, and it's going to be the same the back end of the week with our reactions to it, leading into our live on Monday. So keep an eye out, get involved, leave us your thoughts as well, and we'll see you on the next one.